Hey guys, welcome back to our newest second generation Gold, Silver, Crystal edition using TGB Duel Netplay. This is a match against Goldie, and this match was a bit confusing. The way he played, it really got me realizing this guy's pretty new to the game. We all gotta start somewhere. This was like a 15-minute long match. He actually had to take breakfast as well, so it took us a while. I recorded, why not share it with you guys? I don't have much second generation at the moment to back me up on this, so this match will have to do for now. Anyways, he decided to fly. Now, I would have never recommend you running fly. I would recommend you using fly only in really situational stuff, like if you really try to poison stall somebody for one more turn. It's fly. Outside of that, run hidden power flying. It's better. It's equal power, but it doesn't lock you into that move for another turn. So yeah, he did switch out because Raikou can do neutral damage towards Zapdos, to where Zapdos can only do resisted damage towards me. So in respect, Raikou can wall it, especially mine because it's a rest Sleep Talker, and Zapdos is gonna need to switch out. Tyranitar comes in here, I switch out to Skarmory. I'm kinda expecting him to be totally physical, and by him going for Rock Slide, this does kinda confirm he does not run Fire Blast. And now my Skarmory is in here to stay, and pretty much in majority of situations it would have indicated that he will switch out, which he does. If he decides to stay in, I can at least toxic his Tyranitar. If he decides to switch out, I can at least toxic whatever comes in this case being his Arcanine. Now he did go for the Earthquake. Now by that time this Earthquake took place, I completely ignored it. Because second generation sometimes when the moves come down to mind, some stuff get additional moves, like Snorlax gets Lovely Kiss in second generation, where fifth generation, Snorlax doesn't get such moves. And it's actually a pretty good move. As you're going to see in a second, he is going to try to put asleep my Skarmory, which really does tell you how good of a move it is, because once you put asleep something that can threaten it, thank God I switch out to Skarmory instead of Machamp, because Skarmory can only whirlwind it away. Machamp can at least threaten it out with his super effective moves. For the Earthquake on Arcanine, I ignore it, but I believe Arcanine does not get Earthquake. Now Smogon, when it comes down to movesets, you should not rely on Smogon list. Really, you should never rely on that, because sometimes Smogon just doesn't have stuff up to date. And it came down to, to moves, some additional moves that Smogon never had, it listed. But I'm pretty sure Arcanine second generation does not get Earthquake. I should have checked Cerebi, I checked Smogon, it was not listed. So I can kinda say it doesn't get Earthquake, but hey, stuff can always, change. Dragonite, for example, didn't have Earthquake, yet I was using it. My mistake, my bad. This time I did modify my team a bit to have easier time. I was thinking which two Pokemon should work extremely well with this team. Come to realize Snorlax is a problem. Skarmory can wall it, but one-on-one Snorlax is gonna win. And you should not rely on only Skarmory to handle a Snorlax, because all you can do is whirlwind it and poison stall it a bit, and that's pretty much it. But the thing can always work itself around it. I'm gonna go for the cross shot against the Snorlax, as he did decide to go for the curse. I do a good amount of damage. Actually, I did a little bit more than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting 10% less damage than that, but it really does show Machamp does have the raw power to work around it. I completely ignored this is my Executor, like, because of the name. I completely ignored the sprite, and I literally facepalm. Oh my god, how in the world did I ignore such a sprite? Look at that, that is Oddish right there. How in the world did I ignore an Oddish? Like, it literally stared at me, and yet I ignored it completely. How in the world that happened? Anyways, Fire Blast, somehow I actually survive, and I can still have some usage from my Executor. That's the reason I switch out my Quagsire, knowing that I can most likely wall his Arcanine now. I was actually surprised I survived that Fire Blast. I mean, it's not Flamethrower, and Arcanine, well, I guess Arcanine should have equal special attack than Houndoom, right? Or am I mistaken here? Kinda thinking that is the case, but Skarmory can wall his Heracross, and in this case he's gonna make a Horn, and that's gonna give me the opportunity to get at least one turn of rest away to have easier time, because sleep doesn't reset. And even after being a fan of this whole sleep resetting back in the days, I come to realize how rewarding it was back in the days when sleep didn't reset, because the more better you play, trying to wake up on the turns. You go to Skarmory like this right here, having Heracross for one turn, sleep, and so forth. It is rewarding when you wake up. And nowadays in the fifth generation, when you switch out, all that effort goes to waste, and you're kind of forced to stay in or have it as a death fodder. And that's why I consider sleep to be an Uber move. Like when I say Uber, I don't mean like an Uber, only being used in Ubers or anything. But I really consider it being a bit broken now without a cleric support, because majority of times if they don't wake up early, they're just a waste of space, just a setup fodder and so forth. But T-Bolt against Arcan, I should be talking about this game a bit more. What the hell am I doing? I guess the game is pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. It's the moves that he is doing. Earthquake right here, for example. I've seen it coming. I did 0% damage. That is excellent because yeah, Skarmory does wake up, goes for a Toxic, but unfortunately I was not lucky with Toxic. I believe Toxic is 80 or is it 80? I believe it's 85. In the Futuration it was actually fixed up to 90, which is nice. Really nice fixing there. Well, it was not a fixing, it was a little bit of an upgrade, but it's always nice to get that additional percentage to hidden. In this case, maybe that additional percentage, if he would have been here, would have proved to hit him, but at least I did hit him on the second turn, as he did put me to sleep again. He decides to curse. Now, this was kind of a bit confusing. Why would he curse against a Skarmory? Because the majority of Skarmories, if not all of them, run Whirlwind. And he decided to curse anyways. And you're gonna see right here, he's pretty new to the competitive aspect, to the Pokemon general situation. I'm pretty sure he's pretty new to the game. Hidden Power, Flying, you can easily adjust now with Pikasav. You don't need to run Fly, just download the newest Pikasav. I will link it in description, as well as my guide and all the stuff you need to have in order to get this to work, as well as a list of players, so you have easier time finding players that play games like this. I actually get 5-turn rest. That's right, 5 turns. When does that happen? Anyways, he's gonna go for Ice Beam. I'm gonna go for Toxic against Blastoise. I kind of force him to rest. I kind of want to force his Pokemon to rest. I know it's exaggeration, lots of things have rest, but I was never expecting to get 5 turns, because if I could have Whirlwind that Snorlax away back there with a Poison Stall, that thing would have been a long goner. Just a death fodder, but yeah, lucky him, he actually got a rest off, and now he did a reversal. That was a bit weird. Why would he run reversal? That's another move you should never consider running, especially on a Blastoise that's unstab. Even if you ever get really down to the situational stuff, like really lucky with 1 HP survival, I believe you have lefties, and that's gonna cripple your reversal. Not to mention that reversal is only used with Sash and Sturdy and all those stuff nowadays, and it should never be considered using in second duration. Run anything else instead of reversal. But CS Snorlax is asleep. I switch out to my Machamp. I know I can overpredict one time because he's still gonna be asleep, so I can force him out afterwards if he does not switch out. But I did predict the Heracross switch this turn, and it was pretty safe. I can say it was pretty safe because again, Snorlax would have been asleep for a turn, so overpredicting there was not a mispredict, and that proved to be quite useful. Heracross did get some additional damage to where Cross Chop would have been only resisted, and he did Ice Beam me with his Blastoise and Frozen Solid me. Oh my god. The freeze, seriously, this is something you gotta know. Ice Beam and freeze, I don't know why it's exaggeration, but it happened in my last 3 matches. I got Frozen Solid all the time with Ice Beam. And the last 2 matches didn't get recorded because I was having problems with my Camtasia by that time, but luckily I did get it to work. I was actually playing the creator of Pikasav, which was cool. And Snorlax, again, not much I can say about Snorlax. Executor for the full purpose against Snorlax. That's right, this is the reason I have saved my Executor. Go for the Hidden Power Grass just in case he switches out to Tyranitar. I'm running Hidden Power Grass instead of Giga Drain. Well, the main reason, more PP, and you just don't want to rely on 8 PP. Plus, it's 10 base more power, so Hidden Power Grass isn't that bad. I have Explosion, Sleep Powder, Psychic to work its way around it. Machamp was a mixture, was more of a modification by replacing the Dragonite. Too many special attacks, but before Snorlax was a bit of a problem. because I was mostly relying on my mill tank with curse, but that was not the best thing to rely on because normal versus normal. And what else did we have? I believe I scored a crit with Scratch up there. Yeah, that was lucky my part. But I believe I missed the second turn, so I guess that kind of makes up for it. But then again, the lefties and all that stuff, he's gonna surf away. Where was I? Yeah, Dragonite. Well, Machamp replaced the Dragonite and Executor replaced the Miltank because I believe I didn't really use much Miltank in general outside of the support and maybe Curse Away. But I feel like Executor can play me a bit of a bigger sport offense to this team, especially after realizing that it's got that resistance to fighting that isn't really that common, but Machamp is pretty common, and you kind of want to have something to handle those things. Executor is the perfect thing for it. Sleep Powder can definitely work, and I feel like those two Pokemon can be additional, generally really beneficial to this team. Still gotta modify this team a bit more. Quagsire is great. Switching out to Quagsire against the Tyranitar, knowing that I can majority of times Quagsire shoot wall Tyranitar without any sort of hidden power grass up his disposal, and Rock Slide isn't doing that much to where I can set up and threaten him. I did take down his Blastoise, but Heracross comes in here, goes for the Mega Horn, and scores a crit, which most likely mattered, but it wasn't groundbreaking. It just mattered because I could have taken one, but now this kind of gives me the opportunity to switch out to my Houndoom, my Hellhound, just proceed to clean away with a Flamethrower, take down his Heracross, and here comes his Tyranitar. This is one of those turns where I run hidden power fighting. It's because of this. As you can see right here, that did a lot of damage to where Flamethrower would have done no damage. And Crunch, no damage. Seriously, it does like 2 lefty recovery. But hidden power fighting, on the other hand, even with Houndoom's lack of attack, still proved to be a solid 2-hit. And on a switch it would have definitely been a 2-hit. But I guess he was trying to curse away, thinking that I cannot do much against him, lacking the burn and so forth. But it was a questionable move because Machamp couldn't have outspeed him after curse and proceed to crush up away. I guess he was kind of forced to set up against me because not much he can do after that. He only had one Pokemon left. But yeah, that was the game. Still had lots of fun, Goldie. It was an enjoyable game. It was a decent game in general. He played pretty safe all the time. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, I was thinking about making the obvious moves all the time. I did make a Fire Blast against the Heracross because the off switch is obviously coming. But sometimes, when you analyze your opponent, you know how they play. You should play a bit differently. You should look at your opponent and think what he should expect from you, because really, playing it obvious all the time, just reading its book by its cover, it can be a bit too easy. And this match in particular, I felt like it was an easy match because of how he played. His team it wasn't bad. It was the moves that really were questionable, and my team isn't the greatest either. But I felt that in no situation was I, in that dangerous zone. I really didn't felt like that. Again, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you like Situation, want to see me do more, please do share this video with others so people know Situation exists. They can get involved with it. I have a guide in the description as well as everything needed to get it to work. List of players, all that stuff is in there to help you out, get stuff ready. Thank you for your time, and until next time, peace out.